Hey, welcome back to the weekly podcast, No More Excuses, the weekly Monday motivation podcast, right? I am your host, Sandi Ballard. Thanks again for listening, for sharing the podcast with others, whether you're sharing it directly with people or through social media. However, you're sharing it, whatever you're doing is working because more and more people are reaching out to me. And so that's really exciting and I appreciate it. And thank you for working on your personal and professional growth as well. And I guess depending on how long you've been listening, you've heard me talk about this, but each week really is helping me as well. It's these podcasts come from my own personal experience or experiences, what I'm going through with clients, what they're going through, all that. So again, this is just, everything kind of builds upon itself. So hopefully you're enjoying them. And I appreciate you reaching out. And another shout out to the newest listener. I gave her a shout out last week, Nicole from Rhode Island. And if this is your first time listening, please connect with me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Growing Forward Success Coaching, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm not as big on Twitter, but you can still reach out to me. I do check. And, again, and reach out to me, message me that you're a new listener. Because Nicole from Rhode Island, her Instagram, you've got to follow her. It's Life and Love on Q. That's LifeandLoveonCueq. Life and Love on Q. You have to follow her because she's a true badass and she did exactly what I've been talking about. She did it well before she came upon my podcast. But the last few podcasts, I've talked about changing your perception. That's something you've been holding on to, shifting your mindset. She's done all that, which has allowed her to get rid of the shit from her past that was holding her back. All that crap in her head that was holding her prisoner and causing her to live a life of self-destruction. And so imagine what that was doing to the people around her, her friends, her family, her loved ones, her colleagues. We all have friends that we've tried to help, or family members, or even coworkers that we've tried to help. We've offered help to, and they don't want it, or they laugh it off, or whatever the reason is. We don't accept that offer for help, and or they don't accept to offer help, but we also have probably done it as well, right? So as I've talked about in podcast 165, 166 a few weeks ago, this is number 170. So being 100% fully present for whoever is in front of you. When you aren't, they notice. Kids sense it. Dogs sense it. I mean, who hasn't had someone say to you or you said to them, "Hey, are you okay? Is this a bad time?" Or they keep their mouth shut and ask someone else and it gets back to you. And then guess what? I just saw a Facebook post from my daughter's friend who suffers from anxiety. And he was out trying to step out of his comfort zone. And he had an anxiety attack. And a buddy out loud in front of people he didn't know said, "Dude, what's wrong? Are you okay?" Now, as much as he was probably trying to help, it was not a good time because it embarrassed him. So learning how to help someone and offer that help is a learning curve. And many times we don't want the help or we don't accept the help due to fear. In his case, it was just an embarrassing time and he was stepping out of his comfort zone for the first time. But in Nicole's case, or any of think about that. Think about a time when you did not accept the help when you know you really needed it. Remember, comfort zone, your fuzzy slippered favorite jeans and t-shirt world. There's nothing to be afraid of in there, right? So you don't want to go outside of it because of fear. Because you might have to accept help. You might have to do something you're afraid to do. You might not know what's going on or what will happen. Perfection. So, there's nothing to be afraid of inside your little world, right? It's all fuzzy, slippered, and comfy. Well, so you think. Inside there is still that mental game. What do people think of me? How do I look? What are people saying about me? Especially if you, a roundabout way, hear that somebody's asking if you're okay, right? There's still this mental anguish inside your comfort zone. There's but that's where the self-destruction comes in. We hide in there, put up the walls. We put a no help needed fuck off sign on it, and we walk around with a so what attitude. And we know we need the help. But then something happens and we decide, okay, it's time. But shit, now how do I ask for help? Well, because you've been offered help before. And my mentor has told me many times when I was talking with her years ago about one of my first clients that just wouldn't do anything we talked about in the meetings, wouldn't accept any suggestions. She's like, Sandi, you can't help everyone. So many times we get tired of offering help, right? So what do you do when you decide, all right, it's time? What did Nicole do? She shifted her mindset. And that's what you need to do as well. You know, the people around you get tired of trying to offer help, and sometimes they're not supportive in any decision. I was looking through, yes, Nicole, I was creeping on you on your Instagram pictures. Nicole, in one of her posts, she posted that she used to be over 300 pounds or 300 pounds. And, you know, who cares what she weighs now? As she said, I'm fit, I'm happy, I'm healthy. And now she's using her talents and what she's gone through, her experience and experiences, to empower others to be the same, fit, happy, and healthy. And on January 7th, the first line of one of her posts, it said, stop letting your mind hold you back. Exactly, right? So now she's having people tell her she's too skinny and don't lose any more weight. And ironically, Friday morning, I had a woman who happens to be our small little city mayor's wife tell me that if I would put on a little meat on my bones or a little weight, that I wouldn't be so cold all the time. Well, I've learned to smile and not comment. Yeah, me, not make a comment, I know. But it was also the mayor's wife, right? So maybe that comment and maybe the ones that Nicole's getting come from their own insecurities and judgment, right? So it's like that no win. Here we're doing something good and healthy for our bodies, and all the shitty comments, you're going to get them no matter what you do. If you would have stayed in your comfort zone, stayed unhealthy, stayed not trying to grow your business, stay not eating Brussels sprouts, whatever it is, you're going to get people that give you shit about that. You're going to get people that give you shit about changing. And when you do change and you do pivot and you do evolve in your world, people are afraid they're going to get left behind. It's in one of my books. It's in book number 3, actually. The Magic Pill, but another story for another time. But because you know what you need to do, whether it's a personal, professional goal or change, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's making a move physically, whether it's growing your business, whether it is eating Brussels sprouts or some other vegetable that you've never thought you liked, you can do it. It just takes a little shift. And then baby steps, small amounts of progress, sometimes setbacks, sometimes big jumps. It's all part of this game called life. But I ask you, are you ready to play? Are you ready to play big? Like Nicole is, like many of my clients are. And how can you, by you playing bigger, inspire, empower, and encourage others to play as well? And if you need help getting out of that comfort zone and taking that next step, I'm here. Ballard at growingforward.biz. Reach out to me. Find me on Instagram, any kind of social media. Get with me because I can help you take that next step and get rid of the shitty comments, or not worry about the shitty comments, because we're focusing on you and what you want. Again, my mentor told me, you can't help everyone. And the biggest thing is you can't want it more to them. Right now I have 2 clients that, for the love of God, it's like they want to fail, right? There's all excuses, there's all these things, there's all these buts. And, anyway, luckily, I only have 2 right now, but you can't want it more than them. I see so much potential in these 2 clients that are struggling, and they just keep fighting me. So think about that. It's going to happen. Sometimes you just got to break through that first step. So how about you? What do you want? How badly do you want it? I look forward to hearing from you this week. Again, sballard at growingforward.biz. Reach out to me, find me if you need help taking that first step. And again, check out Life and Love on Q. Find Nicole, especially if it's a health and wellness challenge, because she's just kicking ass. All right? And I'd love for her to take your name and help you as well. Have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.